It's time for Windows Weekly. Paul Thurrott is not here. He's on his way to the Netherlands. It's fine, because we're going to talk about emojis. Brad Sams is filling in. We'll also talk about Windows 10 updates. And a notice you're going to soon see, if you haven't yet updated to 1903, and good news for Microsoft's partners. They'll be happy to hear this. It's all coming up next on Windows Weekly.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley. Episode 630, recorded Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. The cat came back. Windows Weekly is brought to you by Ahrefs. Whether you work for a big brand, run your own small business, or do freelance work, getting traffic to your website is always a challenge. Ahrefs is an all-in-one SEO toolset that's here to help and give you the tools you need to rank your website in Google. To get a 7-day trial for only $7, go to ahrefs.com, the A is silent, ahrefs.com to sign up. And by Capterra. Find the right tools to make an informed software decision for your business. Visit Capterra's free website at capterra.com/windows. It's time for Windows Weekly, the show where we cover the latest Windows news. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, but Mary Jo Foley's here, all about Microsoft.com, and I feel like Paul Thurrott just got really good looking. What happened?
He used the Face app thing, and now he looks.
Oh, it is. You know what? That's Paul Thurrott with the Face app. Yeah. Paul is en route to the Netherlands. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, who's this strange person?
This strange person would be Brad.
Brad Sams.
Brad Sams.
Woohoo! We've made you an honorary lower third. Is that all like what you like? Petri.com,
yeah.
Thurrott.com. Brad
that's
is, of
looking
course,
good.
a regular visitor in his bunny suit to this show. We're going to erase the Paul Thurrott lower third. Just get rid of that entirely. Welcome, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back.
How long have you been covering Microsoft and Windows? You seem like such a young fellow.
Over 10 years. I know that.
Wow.
I don't know if we've quite hit 15 years yet, though. Somewhere over a decade.
Long time.
Long enough.
Now, I have another question, and I hate to do this on the air, but I do. You see, it says Mary Jo Foley, New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the world is Bradley Sams?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Ohio. My city was gone. All right. I'm gonna
No Macungie Valley thing anymore.
No, thank God.
That's over.
Oh, that was so over. I was so over that. Good. I'll put that in the lower third. This title, the show, this title today is "The Cat's Away." What do you mean by that?
I feel like you need to Photoshop Paul's face onto a cat.
We do.
That would be.
I did ask them, and I don't know if they did it.
I know. Did we get the little funny graphic or no?
Let me just push the B button and see what happens. No. It's still Brad. I asked them to put...
That is such an awesome picture, by the way.
I asked them to put Paul's picture in there, but I guess they got busy, so...
that would even be better.
I just wanted to take that bunny suit and, like, tape Paul's face over it.
Yeah.
So that image, it's actually a Care Bear. It's not a true bunny suit. It was a Halloween outfit with my daughter, and we were just walking around. She said, "Daddy, you need to be grumpy."
Grumpy Care Bear.
Yep, that is.
Is that why there's a cloud on your tummy?
Mm-hmm.
It's raining on the hearts.
I should also use it when Azure goes down. That would be a good image for that.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
Azure's
I need
down.
to break that out whenever
Azure's
it's down.
Yep.
It is World Emoji Day, and we can only say that because Thurrott's not here.
Exactly. You know how much he loves emoji.
He would not appreciate this topic at all.
No,
He would
He
not.
would not.
Not in the slightest.
But I just want to say,
No.
Brad, you and your Care Bear suit are in a safe place today.
Safe place.
What is World Emoji Day? And why
yeah,
are
we don't have a lot to
celebrating?
say about it. We just wanted to signal that Paul, I'm sure, wishes he was here because Microsoft even went so far as to do a whole blog post about how they design the emoji in Windows.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's getting on this bandwagon. I saw Ford submit their F-150 truck emoji on Twitter.
Are you kidding?
This morning.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like, and Apple put out a press release on its new emojis. Can I be honest? I don't like the black outline on the Microsoft emojis. That's just
I don't really care for Microsoft's emojis personally. They're
Take that, design studio.
They're proud of it. Does the black outline show up? First of all, since Microsoft doesn't have a phone, I don't know where you're going to use these. I guess
No, so you know what you do? On your Windows 10, you press the Windows key and a period at the same time, and the emoji picker comes up.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Windows key period for emoji picker. That's the most important tip. Oh, look, it works.
Look at that.
It says, but I don't know why it says keep typing to find emoji. If I type letters, will an emoji appear?
Yeah, so like if you want to do bunny suit, start typing bunny.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah. And then if I tap it, will it replace the letters bunny?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, show over. Best tip ever.
Thanks everybody. Good night. That is actually kind of nice.
Yeah, because you know what? We say, would you ever use it on your desktop or your laptop? Yeah. But you might, right?
Well, nowadays, the kids, it's all about the emojis.
Yep.
Well, I get apparently Microsoft has not one but two bunnies emojis. And for some reason, when I type bunny, I get dancing girls too. So it's all there. Everything.
The other bunny.
The other. Yeah. It's not a Playboy. I don't know what. I typed
probably supposed to be.
I typed BUNN and I got two bunnies and a couple of people. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're doing the bunny. But I like that bunny. That's a good.
This bunny. Is fat. Paul is sad he's missing this. I can guarantee it.
He is.
Can you see this in your show notes? Did you see it? Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's leave that there.
There it is
for Paul.
Nice. That makes it even better.
Torture Paul. All right, enough to say. There it is.
That's it. Yeah. Emoji Day.
They do really spend an inordinate amount of time on this blog post about the detailed work that goes into making an emoji crisp and clear, including spliced glyphs. Wow.
It's everything you wanted to know and more.
I don't know if I wanted to know that, to be honest.
Well, I'm telling you, somebody cares about it. Because
in Windows 10, half the time when they talk about a feature update, like the first thing they list is new emoji, right?
Right. And I will confess, I'm not proud of it, but I did bookmark some emoji stories for later in the day and Sunday. I feel like it's a crowd pleaser. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to something important. Keeping up with Windows 10 updates.
Yeah, that's important. So you're going to get this question on your radio show.
Oh, Leo. I've gotten it 2 or 3 times a day for the last 2 weeks.
But now you're going to get
Windows
it more.
7?
No, about Microsoft starting to push 1903 to people who are on 1803 or earlier.
Okay, so how hard are they pushing?
It's starting to happen.
Oh.
Yep.
People are seeing notifications in their Windows update that, hey, 1803 expires in November, so we're going to help you. We're going to help you onto a more current version.
Well, I mean, if it expires, I guess what does expire mean?
Well, support expires, right?
So, oh. Okay.
Does it really, though? I mean,
does that mean no more no more security patches? What does that mean?
I think technically it does.
Unless you complain loud enough, I think then Microsoft would probably shoehorn them to you.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think they would. I know they would.
So you're telling me that if you're on spring of last year's update, you didn't do 1809. A lot of people didn't.
Right. Yep.
In fact, a lot of people couldn't, I think, right?
Right.
That if you didn't update and you don't do 1903 for whatever reason, you're not going to get security patches?
No, so if you're on 1803, which is the April update or earlier, and you're a home user or a pro user, you're going to start seeing messages pop up in your Windows Update that says, we're going to put you on 1903 because
they won't you'll get security patches because you're going to be going to 1903.
You are going there.
Are there machines that can't go to 1903? I mean, because of compatibility issues? Aren't there people who will be left in the dust?
Yeah, see, that's where it gets dicey, right? Because there's compatibility issues all over the place, whether or not they talk about it at wide scale. And some of these people will have blockers. For example, I had trouble getting this machine I'm on updated because of Windows print drivers, which Microsoft controlled. And so you wonder about the people who are going to get left behind. Are they truly getting left behind? I mean, this is a pretty simple fix from Microsoft. If they want to push the patch to you, they can. It's just that they don't want to. So,
yeah, I mean, that seems bad policy to leave people who have a current machine with current version of Windows 10, but just didn't take the feature update because they couldn't, because obviously if you can, you'll get it. You don't get a choice.
Right.
You can't defer.
Well, what they say in their blog post is, we're going to deliver it first to machines that we believe it'll succeed on, and then we'll go from there.
And then the machines it won't succeed on, what?
Yeah. I mean,
and then it's just good luck, everyone.
It's a real question. So if you're somebody who sees this pop up in your Windows Update and say you're on 1803 and it says, hey, we're going to move you to 1903, your only recourse is you have the deferral for 35 days.
Yep.
So you can pick a time within 35 days to have it happen. It doesn't have to happen instantaneously. But if you're on a machine that can't handle it, I'm not sure what happens. And it gets pushed to you. Any ideas, Brad? I don't know.
I don't know. And this is their aggressive rollouts just kind of playing in action where Microsoft just kind of thinks it's just going to work. But as we'll talk about here in a second, they've had issues with their latest builds on their own hardware of Surface Books. And so I don't know. Microsoft really needs to find a middle ground here because not everybody wants to just kind of charge forward. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's going to hurt them, maybe not on this release, but they will eventually run into a time where they force this update down everybody's throat. And then it's going to be a large blocking issue that they just hadn't seen in volume. And then all of a sudden, hey, they've got another issue on their hands. I don't know. I wish that they would just kind of just dial it back and just kind of chill out for a little bit.
As of right now, if you're and I think it's notable that they said for home users, right? And
Home and Pro.
Home and Pro, because that's not enterprise users who can defer.
Because they're not paying the big bucks.
Home and Pro users can't defer. Well, they can. But how long can you defer? 35 days.
35. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're a business customer, you can defer a feature update up to a year.
Right.
So you have more time to try to have your vendor and you figure out what's wrong. But if you're a home user and you get it, Microsoft's idea is, well, you know what? You need to be up to date. You need to be able to get the security patches after November. So we're just going to push it to you and you're going to get it.
Yep. The one thing we don't hear Microsoft talk a lot about too are machines that are like min-spec'd, right? That just barely can run this stuff and people who just haven't upgraded. We just kind of assume, because I don't have one of these machines, that each update just works, right? But as they keep adding more complexity, at some point that min-spec machine is going to continue to slow down over time. It'll be interesting to see what happens to that population who just kind of has to deal with this because they have no recourse.
Well, and you're absolutely right. I'm going to get calls on the radio show because that's who listens. You know, it's normal people who are going to see this pop up. I don't think anybody would, in a normal course of events would resist 1903. You're going to say, okay, fine.
Right.
I don't think so either. But
I'm more concerned about people who can't. Like the compatibility will prevent them.
Yeah.
Or min specs.
Right. What if there's a driver that's not updated in your PC because the vendor didn't update it yet, and you don't realize that? Hopefully Microsoft does because they have all the telemetry on the drivers. But that question's going to come up, right?
Here's the thing that's unseemly. It forces you to buy a machine. It's not that you can't, you can't, it means that when somebody calls me and says, well, I have a machine that is either too old, too minimum spec, or has incompatibility, I can't go to 1903. What is your advice to me? Your answer is there's no answer except to buy a new machine or switch to Linux. I mean, you really there's no,
or Chrome OS. That's probably where I'd throw them. Yeah,
well, honestly, most people, almost everybody should be using Chrome OS, but that's that doesn't seem like a good thing for Microsoft to be telling
No.
people, especially since this isn't that old. It's a year old.
It's not that old. No, it's not that old. I'm just guessing this though, because we don't know, that they have enough telemetry data that they think the majority of machines are going to succeed.
Yeah.
But I think I told you guys this, on my old Acer S7, it tried to go to, I think it was way back at 1511, and I never could get it to work, ever. I never could get it to install. And I think it was a driver issue from Acer that was blocking, or it might have been that weird dual hard drive configuration that they have on those that blocked it somehow. But I never could upgrade.
Will you start seeing these notices? Oh, you just stopped using it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a long time ago. But yeah, I got a guy today who saw the notice and he said, "Hey, I think I'm being upgraded." I'm like, "Yep, you were."
Whether you like it or not. But Microsoft.
It was yesterday that they said it's going to start.
Always said that this is part of the deal with Windows 10 is you're going to get forced upgrades, right? That's always been the deal. And I think Microsoft can safely make the case, well, for security reasons, it's just important that people upgrade their machine, so we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
I just worry about people who have machines that for whatever reason can't be upgraded. And
the edge cases, right? They're going to exist when you have 1.5 billion people running it. It doesn't take a small percentage to have 10 million people impacted.
We'll start hearing about it pretty soon because people are already seeing the upgrade notice. So if it is a big chunk of people who can't, we'll know. He'll be tweeting all of us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. It'll be just like the Logitech webcam issue they had, about 2 years ago, was that they just stopped working. So we'll find out.
Okay. I mean, what more are you going to say? And I think you're right that they'll back down in some way, in some form or fashion, though.
Well, I don't think there can't be that much overhead to ship a patch for a version, right? That
they keep sending out those cumulative updates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it'll just be you can't call us for support or something like that.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Don't call us.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see. We will see.
And everybody, so get ready. When is that going to start? Next week?
Today.
Today. I think it's
yesterday, technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Good to know.
So they said it's going to be staggered, so not everybody will get the update notice at once, but some people I've already talked to today have gotten it. So they're not wasting time.
Yeah. And Londog makes an interesting point in our chat room. He says, if 1803 worked on your hardware, what is it they're doing in 1903 that doesn't work? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, you have compatible hardware. Maybe that is a non-existent problem.
Maybe. I think Brad's right, though. The lower spec machines, because of the reserve storage thing that's happening.
Well, yeah.
That's supposed to make it better for people who have lower spec machines. But I've seen some people say, "Oh, now I don't have much memory left because they took it with reserve storage."
They took it
away.
My memory.
They took it.
And meanwhile, we keep rolling because 19H2 Build 2 is here, or no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, unless you have a Surface Book 2, and then which case then it just takes away your GPU. Which
what?
So that was 1903, right? The Surface Book 2 one.
Correct.
Yeah. So we should tell Leo about that one because that's going to come up in the show too. Yeah.
So this is fun because I have one of these machines right back behind me.
Yeah.
If you have an upper end Surface Book 2, the one with the dedicated GPU that's in the base, and you install the new update, there's a chance that you might just not have the GPU available to you anymore. And so Microsoft has paused the update because of this problem. But this is one of the more embarrassing updates for Microsoft because this is their own hardware. And you would think that they would automate this test somehow, or at least, I don't know, use a Surface Book 2 with a dedicated GPU and actually see the problem. But yeah, if you have a Surface Book 2, the type with a dedicated GPU, I would not install the May update because you might not have access to it, especially if you'd like to take this thing on the road and go gaming with it.
Right. That was always the weird thing about the Surface Book. In fact, it was I had a lot of problems with the Surface Book 1 because it had that, the GPU was in the keyboard, the second battery was in the keyboard. If you detach the screen, it would confuse the hell out of it. And I think it took them a year to get those bugs out.
But and they're still there somewhat too, especially the detach mechanism where you pop the screen off. It's much, much better than it was. but I'd be lying if it said it worked every single time or it was instant response. There are times where you go to hit it and you were doing nothing, and it takes a long time for that thing to detach. I know it's probably trying to like make it so you don't blue screen, which please don't email me. I know that that's what it's trying to do, but it's not a good user experience when you're holding this button down and you're just waiting for a red light or to go turn green to pop it off. But you know, here we are.
Yeah.
Second generation. We've got a third one coming, I believe, too. So.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that going to be the
Yeah.
Surface announcement coming up?
We'll see. I mean, there's updates in the works, and so Surface Book 3 has been floating around for a while. I mean, I don't think we're going to see like a major redesign, at least not yet.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. You know what's really kind of extra ironic about this situation, and a couple of readers pointed this out to me. They said, you know, you've written articles saying Microsoft now, when they design hardware, they have the operating system team sitting in, they have the Office team there, and the hardware team, and they're all developing this stuff together. They now can work together, and they don't have to have the fake Chinese wall thing between the divisions. So how did this happen?
Apparently,
With
nobody
Surface.
uses Surface Book 2 at Microsoft.
But it feels like a lot of Surface devices are the ones that have the late firmware updates,
often-
or they have
yeah.
the problems,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you wonder why,
Yeah.
if they're
I should-
designing things
I
in
just
tandem.
assume it's a Microsoft hardware product. That should be the first one that gets the push.
You would think.
update.
That's-
yeah.
That's what I would
that's what
think.
you would think.
So
Yeah.
So it's not a
strange.
crazy assumption, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the
Right.
Pixel devices from Google. They get the first updates.
Right.
They're right out of the gate.
Right.
You'd think Surface devices would be there, but here we are.
Now, there are new features in H2,
Sort of.
but I see here you say no one can test them. What's that at?
Yeah. Okay. This was a super weird announcement this week, right? So 19H2 is the version of Windows coming this fall. That will be called 1909 when it comes out. And Microsoft, as you remember, they didn't test it for a long time, and then suddenly they started rolling out test builds to the slow ring. So the second one of these came out this week, and they said, it's got some new features. Here's the list of them. And you can't test any of them because they're all off by default. And the reason they're doing that is valid. The reason they're doing that is because when they ship 19H2 in the fall, it'll have all the new features off by default.
Oh.
That's how it's going to ship.
Weird.
So they're practicing, right? They're practicing how is this going to work and how will it work if we want to turn on a feature after we ship it.
And what's the
But-
thinking behind having them off by default?
I think it's because they want to make this a small update, right?
Yeah.
Or not scare people with a bunch of new UI elements
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
But they're adding
but-
features. You won't see them unless you know they're there and turn them on.
Yeah. So one of the ones that are in this build that people have not yet been able to test is enabling third-party digital assistants to work above the lock screen.
Oh, this is the on the lock screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just what I've always wanted.
I know.
I have
As I
been
just
waiting.
turned mine off.
Yeah. Sorry, I just woke her up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are people clamoring to be able
don't
to
think
talk
so.
to
You
their,
know, I've seen one or two people say, "Oh, that'll be cool."
why?
I'm like, "Why will
Yeah,
it though?" Like,
Because it
I don't know.
turns your $2,000 laptop into a $58 voice
Speaker.
assistant. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good
You
thing.
can do it on your Xbox now, too. That was another update. You can run that app and turn your
Yeah.
Xbox
That
into
kind of
it's
makes
like-
sense because it's an appliance, but
I feel like that makes more sense
Yeah.
than your work laptop, right?
all right.
I
but
bet
that's,
this is for OEMs so
Yeah.
that they can
Yeah.
sell
Yeah.
service to Amazon or Google or whoever, make a few extra bucks, and that's what it's going to be.
it also looks good on the big box, on the
Yep.
store, Sam Club
Right.
store wall. And now with Amazon Echo
Yep.
Yeah.
Built right in.
built right
out of the
in.
gate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a selling point, but it's not.
It
for,
is.
not for.
And the other features that were in there are very enterprise specific, like secure rolling of passwords using mobile device management, Azure Active Directory. So it's that kind of stuff that's in there too. That's also off by default. And in their blog post, they said we will be turning these on so you all can test them at some point, but not today. So it was like a little tease, like here's what you're going to get, but you can't test them yet. But here's the build. So yeah.
Excitement reigns.
I know. 19H2, we've said it on the show a few times. It's not going to be an exciting update. It's going to be a very minor update,
That's
but that's
good.
exciting
That's
to
exciting.
enterprises.
That's good for everybody. We want you to get it.
That's what it should have been all along.
Although I gotta make a case for if you're putting features in it, even if they're off by default, the whole point of a beta is to test those features. You're not really testing them if they're not on.
No. They say they're going to turn them on. It just said something like, we will be turning these on for a subset of testers so we can see how the telemetry works and how this feature works. Okay.
Eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brad, do you have 19H2 on any machines that you have?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Nope. I only run actually insider builds on this machine back behind me.
Yeah.
This is my test box back here.
Your Surface Studio is a test box?
Yeah.
Man, that's a $3,000 computer.
No kidding, man.
Yeah, well, the problem with it, Leo, and I think you know this, it's a really loud $3,000.
No, mine's not that loud. Yours is loud?
It's got the old spinning hard drive in it, and then the fan kicks on.
We replaced the spinning hard drives with SSDs.
Yep.
And that was a very good mod. Father Robert did that mod, and as a result, it's silent. Because I would know. I'm sitting in front of it with the microphone on. I don't think it's loud.
I need to do that, but that's the only place I run it.
It's such a beautiful screen. I think it's
it is.
Maybe you don't want to be sitting in front of an all-in-one. It looks like you're more of a laptop guy. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's a nice machine. I don't want to dog it. Like the studio is a great machine, and that's why I can use it the most. Is with the 20H1 right now is on there.
Don't look back, but it seems like something's going on with that machine. That the screen must be tilting slightly, so the reflection is slowly inching down the screen.
Nope. You know what this is, Leo?
What?
This is the Apple TV screensaver.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, man, it's a screensaver. I thought, wow, this is creepy. His screen's slowly tilting.
No, it's that slow, like whatever, 240 frames per second.
That's actually a good screen. I really like that screensaver.
Yeah, so you can download that as a third-party app that's right from Apple and run it as a screensaver.
Yep. Apple says for some reason has never blocked that. I don't know why, because the resources come from their servers, so they surely know it's not them. But hey, cool. Okay, now I get it. It's a cityscape from above. I thought it was reflections of your lights in the studio.
Might actually be flying over Mary Jo's.
Right there. Right there it is. Right there. There's her flag.
I see them.
Stick your head out and wave.
There it is.
So far, no new build today. A lot of times on Wednesdays they drop a 20H1, but not yet if they are going to do one today.
Are a bunch of them at Inspire? I wonder if that.
Yeah, probably at the Ready conference.
Oh, Inspire's
so
going
week,
on? They backed down on that
Inspire,
partner thing, right?
Oh, we're going to tell you more about that.
Okay, good.
What happened.
Yeah, because I talked to Russell. Remember we were talking last week about a partners who are upset. He was one of them, very upset because he's a very small partner.
So we have a good update for him.
Oh, good. Okay. Yes. He'll be glad to hear it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it's also, besides being Inspire this week, it's also an event called Ready, which is Microsoft's big internal sales kickoff. And so Inspire and Ready are co-located in Las Vegas. So in Las Vegas right now, you have a ton of Microsoft partners, like 30,000 of them. Plus, you have all these crazy salespeople and internal other folks who show up for that thing. And it's a lot of Microsoft in Vegas right now.
Yep.
And I was thinking of moving there.
You'd have to abandon the city this week.
No, that's kind of so. One of the reasons, and I don't know if we're going to do this. It would be distant future when I retire. But one of the reasons we thought it'd be fun to live there is because then one of the condos we were looking at is right next to the convention center. It'd be kind of fun. You could just wander over, and there's all sorts of weird conventions. There's the Magicians. There's
all the time.
CES. There's NAB. There's Microsoft. It'd be kind of fun. Yeah. Just wander over, say, "Yeah, I used to be with the press."
You'd be like, get out of here. This is a closed event.
You want a Tech TV hat? Yeah, I'd wear Mary Jo's disguises. I need your wigs and disguises, please.
You would need those. You would. Or Brad's bunny suit, maybe. I don't know.
The bunny suit would do it.
It's a Care Bear, Mary Jo.
Care Bear.
Oh, you're right, Care Bear.
It's a Care Bear.
Okay, so right now, Brian Yates just tweeted me and said, look, I just got the notice about going to 1903. So here's what it says on it. Yep. He said, feature update to Windows 10 1903. But it does say, when you're ready, hit download and install. So I didn't think that was going to be how that showed itself if you were on 1803. I thought it was going to be more of a force, not like you can do this whenever you want.
Maybe they start out nice.
Maybe. And then as you get closer to November 12th, like, no, you're doing this now.
Well, when you're ready could mean, and you're ready now.
Yeah, it could mean that.
When you're ready, like any day now. Come on.
Also, Brian, if you're listening, are you on 1803 or earlier, or or did you just click on this yourself proactively? I'm curious. So yeah.
Right, I'm going to find his tweet. It's going to take me a minute, but
yeah, he just tweeted it to me a minute ago.
Okay. Our show today brought to you by Ahrefs, the all-in-one SEO tool set. I have talked about SEO in for many, many years. In fact, I've even spoken at SEO conferences. And one of the things I often say is there's a lot of SEO that's just, snake oil. But then there is SEO that really makes a difference. Search engine optimization. I know everybody's concerned about this. The other day I was talking to my massage therapist. She said, my website, when I search for, I think it's massage and Sonoma, which is where her business is, it's always at the bottom of the page. How do I get at the top of the page? And she was at a Kinko's, and the guy said, oh, yeah, you just tell everybody to search for you. I said, no, that's not how you do it. Maybe she needs Ahrefs. I think a lot of people need Ahrefs, whether you work for a big brand or run your own small business, or maybe even just do freelance work. Getting traffic to your website is always a challenge. And if you're new on the web, it's even worse, But there are ways you can get better. One of her concerns was all the other massage therapists in Sonoma come up above her. Well, Ahrefs does all sorts. For instance, they make competitive analysis easy. They have tools that will show you where the traffic is coming from for your competitors and how they're getting traffic and why. You can see the pages and content that send your competitors the most search traffic. Yeah, that stuff's all available if you have the right tool. You can also find the keywords your competitors are ranking for, which backlinks are helping them rank. All of this can be used to improve your strategy. Replicate their strategies, improve on their strategies. Just figure out, why is it they're beating me? Once you know, you can do something about it. And if you're not getting significant search traffic, actually Ahrefs tools will tell you that right up front, and then you can use their tools to find topics that are worth creating pages or content in. Topics people are searching for. I did tell her this. I said, Google ranks you based on the quality of your site. Put stuff in there that people will search for and find. And Ahrefs helps you do it. You can easily see the estimated search volumes based on, let's say if I wrote a page about the best massage table, and they gauge the traffic potential with their Keyword Explorer tool. If you're already getting search traffic, but you'd like to know why or what pages are the best, their Top Pages report helps break down which of your pages are bringing in the most traffic. This is a great tool set. And the thing is, most importantly, it's very affordable for small businesses and individuals. Right now, you can try it for 1 week for $7. So $1 a day. Go to ahrefs.com. They also have a free blog and a great YouTube channel, step-by-step SEO tutorials that will help explain these concepts. This is what I told Kim. I said, this is what you need. Go here, watch these videos, get this tool, and I guarantee you it's going to make a difference. It's going to solve this problem. Much more than telling everybody you know. Search for my page. A 7-day trial, only $7. Ahrefs is spelled ahrefs.com. The A is silent. ahrefs.com. Ahrefs. We thank him so much for making a tool everybody can use and for supporting Windows Weekly. We thank you for supporting Windows Weekly by going to that special site and signing up. Ahrefs.com. It's pronounced Ahrefs. The A is silent. Credge time. We've all been waiting for Credge news.
I love this. This is makes me happy.
Before we say anything,
yes.
Yes. I keep getting complaints on Twitter from the Credge team about me calling it Credge.
But wait a minute, they're the Credge team.
Well,
Not
so
in their
I just
mind.
want to stay on the record. I'm not just doing this to torment you guys, although that's part of the fun, but also you should have called this something else during the beta test and the testing of this, because for us writing about this, we can't just call it Edge because there's something already called Edge that is not Credge.
We call it the new Edge. It's weird. I always call it the Chromium-based Edge.
Chromium-based Edge, or the coming new Edge, or the coming Chromium-based Edge. that's why we do it, just to clear the air here. And I had one of the team members yesterday say to me, yeah, but you know what? The reason we called it Edge is we want to have brand continuity when we come out with this and we eventually replace the old Edge. I get that. But for now, we need a shorthand way to talk about this thing. So
be honest. We're calling it Credge forever. Be honest.
It's going to be Credge from now on.
Sorry.
Credge or die. I'm getting the shirt.
Credge or die.
Wow.
That's
a little hardcore.
The thing I love about what they announced, so Microsoft announced the Credge enterprise roadmap with a bunch of features and all that stuff. And they come out and they're saying, hey, you need to start testing this. You need to start deploying all this stuff. You need to get it into your environment up and running, which great. And I'm sure some people are, but we still don't have a beta for this thing. We still don't know a release date. We still don't know when it's going to actually be shipping with Windows. And I don't know how you hear, Mary Jo, but IT pros generally don't have just time sitting on their hands to play around with this stuff. And so to tell these people, hey, you really need to start hammering on this when we don't know when it's coming, more than likely not this year, it's a little ambitious.
It is. What they said there was this week, the dev channel now has the Chromium-based Edge features turned on by default. Yep. So if you're somebody who wanted to see things like IE mode or sign in with AAD accounts, now you can start testing that because it's on by default in the dev channel. And then they made some comments about, don't worry, we'll support you if you have it in pilot. But I think that means paid support. I don't think it means we'll just be on hand but I might be wrong about that. So the roadmap's good, and it tells you here's what we get now, available immediately. Here's what's going to be coming in the next several weeks. Here's what's coming in a future update with no timing on it at all. And some of the things there are things like integration with SCCM and Intune, which I know a lot of people care about, and PDF support for digital signatures. So some of the more advanced enterprise capabilities are not going to be coming until some unspecified future update.
Yep.
But still, if you do care, you can go now to edgeinsider.com/enterprise and see what they've got and check it out. Download a test build that'll be updated
there's
weekly.
Offline installers as well. You can go grab those if that's been holding you back. That's available. So it's a good browser. I have no problem with it, but I think they got to be realistic about who's actually going to be rolling this out and when. Yeah. So.
It's great. It's great that they have the IE support is it now available? Or
IE mode is in there now.
Yeah, okay, so that's the most important thing, I think, especially in enterprises. They're going to want to see if they can move to Edge just because they have IE requirements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's great what they're doing. I think it's important for them to have some enterprises testing it, but I think they need to say something about the rollout plan. I agree with Brad on that. My new guess is, they say there's going to be a beta channel where it will be updated every 6 weeks. I'm kind of wondering if that's GA. Like, how Chrome was in beta forever.
Not bad.
I don't even know if it still is or isn't, but maybe that's what they're going to do.
No, it's not in beta. They have a beta channel now, but you're right.
But remember when they used to have it in beta?
Google used to do everything in beta. That was like
forever, right?
Their inside joke was everything's beta.
Yeah. So maybe that's what they're going to do too. I don't know.
My guess is, and it actually answers all of the things that we've been talking about, they didn't think this would be a big deal. It's like, we're just going to slip in a different engine. Nobody will notice. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We don't need to give it a special name. We don't need to, talk about a release date and all that stuff. But but people like us are really interested in this change of rendering engine, because from their point of view, that's all that's happened. We're just going to change the rendering engine in our browser. What's the big deal, kids? I mean, that's so inside baseball. They probably thought nobody's going to pay attention to that. But of course,
it's a lot more than that, though.
Is it?
I feel like.
Because they've got to put a lot into it. I think, Leo, you're on to something here, because if you look at actually like the usage of Edge right now, it's like 5% or something like that around there. Like, what legacy are they carrying forward here? Like, that's 5% is going to be loyal no matter if it's a Blue E or anything else.
It's just they use it because it's just it's the Blue E. It's just what shows up. That's how you do it, right? That's the 5%. In fact, it's stunningly low given that's the default browser in Windows.
Right.
It just shows really how much people do want to use something else.
Yeah.
So maybe it is important to them. Maybe you're right, Mary Jo, because this is in a way saying, look, please pay attention. It's a new Edge. It's different. Mm-hmm. Was there a code name? We could
Anaheim is the code name for the new Edge.
If we say, we can't really say. It's time to talk about Anaheim.
I know. If more people knew that code name, it would work. Right. But I don't think, like if you say it, people will be like, what?
Right.
They should have gone with Spartan. That would have been.
That was the old code name.
I know, but that's what they should have just called.
Spartan 2.
Yeah, Spartan 2.
The Reckoning.
Oh, Mary Jo, you've been working with Paul a little too long.
I have. I know. He's rubbing off on me. It's not good. It's really bad.
That's pretty funny. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry, Chromium Edge team, but we got to distinguish.
Nice people.
It's. I wonder if there's some trend because remember, Apple did this with the iPad. They just declined to give it a number or a name. They just said no, it's the iPad, but it's not the same as the Pro. No, it's just the iPad, and it's useful to I think for us as people who are covering these things. It forces people writing about Macintosh and iPads to say things like the 2018 iPad, which is not felicitous.
No.
Well, they tried it with the Surface Pro for one iteration, and that kind of
they did, didn't they? I think it must be there's some trend. Somebody wrote a book. Somebody in marketing and advertising wrote a book. Said, "Let's do away with all these numbers. What do numbers mean to people anyway? Let's just. It's a name. It's the new." Yeah. Nobody says it's the new Ford Explorer. They don't say Ford Explorer Chromium. They just say it's the 2019 Ford Explorer. Why can't we be like Ford?
There were rumors for a while. I forget what year this was that Microsoft was just going to start calling Windows plain old Windows with no number.
Yeah, they'd like to.
And I was just like, oh man, that is going to make everybody's job horrible because can you imagine you call support and they're like, what version are you using? Windows. But which one? It just says Windows. I don't know. Right.
I still think they'll do it eventually.
They will. Once they get all these people using old versions of Windows out of the system.
Which is still going to take a while. 7 expires next year, but that's not
10. I mean, what version of 10 are you running? Are you running 1803, 15, whatever? Pick your random number. So
when I guarantee you, when it finally goes to Microsoft Linux, they'll just call it Linux. I am not giving up on that. I am not giving up on that. No, that's my prediction. Because if in 5 years they do that, I will be so right. I will be so right. People go, how did he know? And if they don't.
You know what happened to me this week on Twitter, Leo? Somebody added me to a list they had on Twitter, and the list is entitled Linux, and they just added me to it.
That's mean.
So I'm like, okay, so now I'm in a Linux list.
I'm telling you, it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
Actually, it's good and speaking of Linux, it's good what they do with Ubuntu. They have funny code names.
Right.
You could have Microsoft Windows Ambitious Avocado. I stole that from Prawn in our chat room.
Could anyone keep a straight face talking about that? No.
Okay. Let's talk about this partner thing. So I talked a little bit to Russell, our IT guy, who is, in fact, a Microsoft certified partner. And he does get those tools for free,
internal use rights.
Internal use rights. And he was, when Microsoft said no, and he's one of the little guys they're squishing out, he says, I can't, he told me, I can't remember, but something like, you have to sell 35 new copies of Microsoft 365 every year to maintain your certification. There's like a quota. And he says, I'm a small guy. I don't have that many new clients every year. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So should he be, you said he should be happy.
Yeah. So Friday at like 11 a.m. Eastern, Microsoft put out a blog post and said, you know what? We listened to you and we've acted and we're rolling all this back.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sure
they're not making any of it happen. So internal use rights not going away for anybody. The free support incidents that they were going to take away are back. the requirement, if you were a cloud solution provider partner, that you had to add 10 new net new tenants.
That was it. 10
Yeah.
net new, and not like renewals, but net new.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now that's back to 4 again,
Okay.
as it was.
Okay.
So everything got turned back,
Good.
which is good. And for now, right? Yeah. So everybody who's like, woohoo, we won. I'm thinking, yeah, this is for now, because they already said it's too expensive for them to keep offering this because so many people are using Office 365 as part of their internal use rights and not paying them a penny.
Right.
So they're back. Somebody's back there in headquarters thinking, okay, how can we do this next year or sooner, where we turn off at least some of the internal use rights and we don't get everybody in a complete uproar doing this.
Yep.
Well, for Russell, at least, that was not such a big issue. It was the 10 net new.
Oh, it was a 10 net new thing.
That was
yeah.
because he's got, I don't know, he only has a few dozen customers. He's a small MSP.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, it's hard, he doesn't want to become a salesperson, right? Hire a sales team and go out and find 10 new clients every year. He doesn't need to for his business. It's Microsoft artificially forcing that on him.
Yeah.
So I think that was the one he was most bugged by.
Yeah. The part
I'd heard too that
there's so
some
much
of this was infighting. Like,
Oh,
you do.
some
Okay,
of
I was
it
going to
was-
ask you what you think happened.
So I've heard two. One, I would consider a conspiracy theory. Two, I would consider probably more logical. One of the conspiracy theories that came from a Microsoft employee mentioned that, hey, maybe there was somebody down the org chart trying to just get attention, and nobody was listening to them about the changes, and so they just let it go live. Remember, like, it's not like this came out in some massive announcement; it just kind of got updated. And so that is the conspiracy theory, that this person was trying to communicate to management. Management wasn't listening, so the changes went live, and there you go. You have the major uproar. The second theory, which I tend to believe this one very much so, is that nobody wanted to absorb that budget, right? Somebody has to incur that cost
that's
into
what it is. Yeah.
in their cost center. And so what do? I mean, you figure this is not cheap to run all this IUR stuff. And so somebody has to take ownership of it, and nobody did. So what happens when nobody takes ownership of it? Well, you just turn it off.
right. That might make sense. Yeah.
It could. Somebody from Microsoft, who I can't name, told me it costs them $200 million a year to do IUR.
Oh, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's not a lot if you're Microsoft and your partners are bringing in so much money.
Right.
You know.
Isn't it something like
I don't know.
95% of it comes in through partners? Like they sell
It
the
is,
subscriptions and all that stuff. So it's like, why would you make 95% of your cash flow streams angry? That doesn't make sense.
When we did this on the show last week and we talked about this, I said, there's no way they're rolling this back. Absolutely no way, because they must not have made this decision lightly. But now I guess maybe they did. I don't.
Let's run
Yeah,
this
shoot
up the
from the hip.
flagpole and see
Yeah.
who salutes.
Let's see how many people are mad. Oh wait, everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it was nice that they did it when they did, because they saved everyone some baggage fees, because then they didn't have to they ship their pitchforks out to Las Vegas.
That's right.
I mean, what if they hadn't done it, right? I can only imagine how Inspire would have been this week. It would have been
Just
probably like people
booing.
protesting, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you
It
could
just
think
would
about
have
for
been
some of these companies,
bad.
it's thousands of dollars a month, if
Yeah.
not more.
Oh, yeah, more for sure. So the good news is it was rescinded. The bad news is we don't know how and when and if it'll be back, but I would guess it will.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're right. They obviously learned a lesson here. That's very clear. But at some point, the fact that they're already considering this, to Mary Jo's point, is that it's going to happen again in some way or another, or drawn out over time. But Microsoft is going to find a way to do this, because they've already shown that they have intent to do it. So
Right. I mean, it would kind of make sense to say, we'll give you internal use rights on products that you can show us you're selling to customers.
Mhm.
Right. But should you get internal use rights on Cosmos DB or SQL Server if you're not selling those to customers? Maybe not.
yeah, I mean that was kind of their argument, right? Was that if it's not a competency, but then there's the other problem, which what happened was, so Microsoft made this announcement. I started emailing partners. Like I was going to write a really long piece on Monday of this week, and then Microsoft on Friday just tweets it out that they're rescinding all this stuff. So it was kind of a wasted effort. But
Hey, you
what I
got
was
the weekend
hearing,
off. Just think of it that way.
I know. Right.
is there were companies who are using things like Dynamics 365, but that's not what they sell. And they were already looking at how they were going to claw that back.
Yeah. See, that's different. I can understand why Microsoft wouldn't. Although, that $200 million number sounds a little high. I mean, these are sunk costs. They're running the servers anyway. It's not. It can't. I mean, is there what does that cost? Bandwidth?
Right. Right. Like compute, bandwidth, that kind of stuff, probably.
I bet that's like an expected revenue number. Like if they were selling that usage at retail.
But that's not what it would be.
But that's not their cost.
Yeah, it's not
right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not an opportunity cost. It's, their cost can't be that much. Well, maybe it is, but if it is, that's a lot of people are using it. And I could see how they would resent people using it who aren't selling it. That makes sense. I understand that.
Yeah. Especially now that they're calling some of their customers partners, right? So customers are paying them something for all this software.
Right.
Yep.
And if you're calling your customers partners, then you've got this other group of people you're also calling partners. And one group is paying and the other one's not. Maybe that's also a bone of contention.
Were people really upset about the internal use rights? Was that the big sticking point?
Oh, man. Yeah, very upset.
Ooh.
That's interesting. Because, I mean, honestly, you just raise your fee a couple of bucks.
I know. You could pass it on to your customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, people were going crazy.
Russell was much more concerned about the lack of free support because he's...
Yeah, some people were really...
He says, why do I have to pay to support your product?
Yeah.
You know, and then... but mostly it was this issue of selling 10 new ones. Now, that's something unique to his business because he's a small business. I'm sure there's a lot of partners who say, oh, yeah, we can add 10 new customers every year. That's one a month.
I saw a lot of people mad about that one, too, on the message boards.
All three of them together make it bad.
It was bad, yeah.
Anyway, good. Inspire is
good news.
Is it already started? Has it started?
Yeah. Today's day 3.
Oh, wow. So people, they had to do this before the show. Obviously.
They did.
Yeah. That's why they did it on Friday. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Before you get here with your pitchforks, let's say it's over. How is it?
My favorite comment on Twitter about it was one person, I forget who it was, said to me, well, now I have a lot of extra room in my suitcase because I don't have to pack that pitchfork.
Yep. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. So your guys aren't there. How come?
No.
We're not allowed.
Oh, that's right. That's the one where you'd have to wear wigs. I remember now.
Yeah, we used to be.
Yeah, we used to get to go. It's a pretty cool show to go to because you've got this whole giant audience of partners, and there you are as press, just wandering around, being able to talk to everybody and anybody there. It's pretty great.
Yeah, you could really learn where Microsoft was investing. That was always the benefit. You could go talk to a partner and they'd say, hey, here's where Microsoft's putting a bunch of money in next year. And that's where you know that things are headed. And that was the benefit of going to that show.
Yeah.
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 I mean, you can see, like, I was watching people who are in the keynotes tweeting about it. So, like, you can see lists of what they're going to invest in, but they kind of whitewash the slides because they know people are going to take pictures of them. And so they don't show you anything really crazy. You know, it's like IoT innovation, AI for innovation, you know, and it's like, yeah, okay. You know, kind of vague topics. So, you know, they're going to invest in the future in 2020 and everything around Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365 and more about AI, like IoT and the edge, intelligent edge, all that stuff. You know, it's like you already know what they're going to say, and they did.
They did a holoportation demo. What was that?
Yeah. So, Brad, did you watch the keynote today?
I did. And that with Julia's her keynote, or not her keynote, but that demo of that Holo thing, that was. So for those who didn't see it, what it basically is they can make a hologram of you and then take that hologram and using close to or your actual own voice, speak any language. So it's a really kind of impressive demo of just putting a bunch of different things that they have together to make it look like you're there talking in whatever language you need it to be in. It's also kind of creepy in a little way, but
I know,
right, because it's you and it's your voice speaking Mandarin or whatever Spanish, but you don't know that language. And I don't know. I'd like to make a hologram that can go to my meetings for me. That would be the ideal outcome of this technology. But it's interesting.
Yeah. So we could watch the Monday morning keynote, which was when they talked to the partners about internal use rights and all the other things for partners. But then today was Satya Nadella, and as part of his keynote, Julia White, who's a VP in Azure, did this demo that Brad just described. And what was cool about it for me is we've seen them talk about doing this for years. I think 2015 was the first time we saw like Microsoft doing those envisioning videos where they showed, wouldn't it be cool if you could holoportate? Is that what you would say? Holoportate yourself somewhere and be in a meeting, like your actual image of yourself or whatever you wanted to have be your representation would be in the meeting. You could be talking and it would be like you were there.
Yep.
And so they're trying to show this year, like we're getting closer. It's getting closer. Now we actually have many of the pieces you need to pull this off available, like speech to text services and Azure Translate, so you can translate simultaneously into Japanese or Mandarin or whatever. And then the HoloLens glasses where you can have your representation there. The one part they didn't explain was how did she turn that representation of herself as a hologram into something that was life size, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait, how do you even do that? I'm not sure, but that was part of the demo too. And the best thing about this demo was it worked.
Yep.
It actually worked.
Yep. Unlike
and
Bill,
everybody in the audience was wowed. Like you could see from the reactions on Twitter, people were like, okay, that's actually really awesome. And it's amazing. You guys can do this. So that was good. They also did a really complicated, but interesting SQL Server demo too. But of course, if you're showing holoportation and Minecraft versus how many
wow, that SQL
terabytes of
Server.
SQL Server
Ooh,
you can do.
Did you see that demo?
Like
Ooh,
yeah.
That was cool.
It was impressive if you were a database person,
Right.
and
That's what this should be.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
you gotta have some sexy, but you could also have some hardcore
yeah.
content.
So, but they talked all the same themes: Power BI and the whole Power Platform, and Microsoft 365 again, Dynamics. So those are their big go-to-market things for the coming year.
Yeah, and Azure Lighthouse. You got your
Brad,
lakes. You got your data lakes. You got your bridges, and now you've needed it for a while, a lighthouse.
Yeah. So Azure Lighthouse, for probably most people, isn't going to be a thing that they need to worry about. But if you're a managed service provider, what it allows you to do is to see across the entire estate of everything that you're managing. So it's going to make the management of if Mary Jo has a tenant and Leo has a tenant, you guys are different companies, but they both need to be patched and updated. You can now do it from one central interface rather than having to log into all your different tenants to manage everything. So it's a lighthouse to see over your estate.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, they played it up a lot at the partner show also.
Because those are the people that are going to use it, right? It's not a thing you would talk about at Build or probably not even at Ignite. I mean, these are the people who are going to log in and need it, as opposed to most other people will not.
You know what we need?
What?
We need a picture of Paul Thurrott in a cat suit.
There we go.
That's what we need. Thank you,
He's
Drop
going to land in
Tunes.
Amsterdam.
He's going to
like,
see
"What?"
this. I really want to get this. Actually, let me click on it because he's got feet. Thank you, Drop Tunes, for doing this. I really want to get somebody in our studio engineering team to put that into our machine.
Nice. So if we happen to mention him, you can just...
I think I can pop him up.
Nice.
Who does that, John? Who does the... Was it now that Alex isn't here anymore, nobody can do that? Is that...
It's his custom script.
John says, no, we all can. It's just that nobody cares to.
Oh.
It's on Twitter. It's been done for you. All you have to do is go to Twitter, at DropTunes, and you can get this fine image of Paul Thurrott in a cat suit. It's even on a white background, so you can clip it out.
That's awesome.
At DropTunes on Twitter. All right, so there. He says, we can all do it. We just don't want to.
Right. Does anyone want to, though?
Fantastic.
Thank you, DropTunes.
Mary Jo, we need to put that on a shirt and wear it to Ignite for stickers.
Oh, my God. It'd be such a great T-shirt. I would order this. I would order this in a T-shirt because it looks like he is the cat. He looks so lovable.
He just needs a little pin that says Credge.
Get him in okay. Can we make that an emoji somehow? That would be the ultimate.
I like your thinking.
Meanwhile, back at the office,
Yep.
That's
Brad, explain this story of yours to me because
so I got this tip. Microsoft has a thing right now called a Cortana heads up email, and it's kind of a
before you go further, do you even use that? It's terrible.
No. Well, so absolutely true story. Somebody, when they were explaining this to me, what this feature was, they said, here, it's kind of like this. And I had to look and see what that feature was and when it was announced. And I was confused that it was related to this new thing. But the heads up email was kind of like the genesis point for this feature that is coming to Office 365. And it may not even be under the Cortana umbrella, so keep that in mind. But effectively what it is, Microsoft right now monitors everything that you communicate in the enterprise world, right? Your email has to be monitored, Teams has to be monitored for compliance and all that good stuff. And so what they're doing is they're taking their little AI goopy magic and just kind of like looking at that data for promises that you're making. Like saying, if I say, hey, Mary Jo, I'll send you a meeting invite for next Thursday. And if Mary Jo says, yeah, I'll make sure to bring that PowerPoint deck. Well, this feature can now understand what that is. And then in an email or as a reminder, we'll say, hey, look, don't forget to send this reminder. And don't also forget that Mary Jo is bringing this document. And people who have experienced this say it's actually really, really good and intricate about what it can pick up. And so is this like the next groundbreaking feature of Office? No, but it's just one more thing that Microsoft can do on top of that Office 365 portfolio that they're offering.
So I use Cortana email reminders now. I tried it because I thought, oh, you know what? This could really be cool if it reminds me of things that I have forgotten. But for me, all it ever does is remind me of things I've already done.
That's like Amazon's
like it'll be like, Mary Jo, don't forget to email Brad that. I'm like, yeah, but I already did that.
You got to remember though, it's harder to do on the consumer side, right? Because of privacy. Like I don't want Microsoft doing it on my AI and my Outlook and everything else. Like it's only with Cortana stuff. But in the enterprise world, it's kind of implied that, hey, don't do dumb stuff at work because everything is monitored and it has to be. And so it's cataloged. And the idea is that, hey, we've already got all of the data for this stuff. Why not try to figure out how to use it to be more intelligent? So it's the consumer version will never be able to match what the enterprise is doing unless you basically volunteer to ship all your data and conversations to Microsoft.
Yeah, I just find it lags, and it also doesn't realize when you've done something, like when you've completed it. And the other day I got a reminder on something that it picked up from my email from like a month ago for some reason.
It sounds like the perfect Microsoft experience right there.
Yeah. Like the promise of it and the idea of it, I like, because, sometimes you'll say to somebody, I'll get that to you tomorrow. And then you don't remember that you said that in an email or a tweet or a DM somewhere. And then you're like, oh, I forgot I said that. But it's not working like I need it to work.
Yeah, you would think in the enterprise world, though, they should be able to solve that problem because they would be able to see that you said in Teams, invite Paul to a thing. And then they should be able to look at your calendar and to see if you actually sent an invite to Paul, which, again, on the consumer side, they can't do. So the enterprise world just unlocks that kind of data pipeline that they need.
That's fair. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
So look for that. I believe at Ignite they might announce that. Obviously, timelines will all shift and whatever, but it tentatively might be coming at Ignite and available potentially later this year if it all sticks to the timeline. So.
Yeah. You know what I thought Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say they're trying so many things in the Office world right now to make you more productive at work, and the whole, like all the analytics stuff they're adding in so you can see where you spend your time all the time. What percentage of my week am I in meetings? I don't like that stuff. I find it more creepy than useful. But I know there are some people who think it's so useful because they don't really seem to have a handle on how they spend their time, I guess.
It seems like a management feature, though, right? Like your managers can look down and be like, oh, Mary Jo spent 27 hours in meetings last week. I don't know what you do with that information potentially because I don't know. Me personally, I try to avoid all meetings that I can.
Me too.
And so when you're in a meeting, it's more than likely needs to be relevant. I guess there's going to be that fringe scenario or that edge case where people are just getting invited into meetings that don't really need to be. And maybe that will bubble up through that stuff. But this just feels more like a kind of a management feature that, hey, I want to see what my employees are doing rather than me trying to look at and optimize my perfect week of meetings.
I don't know. So. I guess I understand where they're going. They believe that you'll be happier at work if you're more productive and you can have a better handle on understanding how your time and efforts are being used and what's working, what's not, how to schedule. They have that calendar.help thing that helps you schedule meetings proactively with people, and it can see both of your calendars and actually find a time that works for both of you. I like some of these things, but other ones I'm like, it's going a little too far.
The one thing it misses, though, which if Microsoft can solve this, then they've solved everything else, is the biggest reason people leave jobs isn't because of the work. It's because of their manager, right? They don't like who they're working for, so they get out of there. It's not that they have too many meetings or anything else like that. I'm sure there are people who have left because of that. But most of the time, it's if you don't like your boss, you're going to go find a new job. And that's never going to show up in analytics.
If only it could.
The Cortana reminders do it in voice? No, they just do text, right? They don't say
text.
Hey,
Cortana
wake up
talks during Windows setup.
Yeah, it does it through my email because I have it turned on. So whenever I email somebody about something, it'll create this reminder.
See, that's part of the confusion of using the Cortana brand for that.
Yeah, it is.
Because I think of it as a voice assistant, and if it's not, it's intelligence. Well, that's something else.
Right.
They used to call it like Cortana Analytics. Wasn't that what it was many years ago? And then they moved away from that.
It was Delve for a while, right?
Oh, Delve.
Yeah, but they applied a Cortana Analytics for a very brief period of time. And I remember a lot of people in the Cortana team were upset because it was just kind of abusing the brand. And now it's evolved into whatever analytics, something else.
It's a good thing they did because that's all that's left.
I know, right? Yep.
Lucky thing they took over that brand.
Yeah.
This was I thought the most interesting Microsoft story of the week was that the success of Teams, that at least according to some, it's actually expanding faster than Slack at this point.
I don't think people should be surprised by that, though.
They're giving it away, right?
Yeah, they have a built-in audience of, what was the last figure? 160 plus million corporate customers.
185 million?
Wow. Or 85, yeah. It's even,
yeah, but many of those people were already on some other platform.
Yeah.
Right. We considered Teams only because HipChat had been sold and to Slack, so we were losing HipChat. So we thought, well, we got to move to a new platform. Should we move to Slack? Should we move to Teams? And the only reason we didn't choose Teams, you're right. If you get somebody at that juncture, Teams is a good candidate, partly because it's free. Yeah. Slack has a free tier, but it's pretty low functioning, and we didn't because it didn't have the integrations that Slack did. Now, of course, they're adding integrations all the time to things like Panopta and stuff our team's using to monitor servers, that kind of thing. So it kind of makes sense to me, but I'm already in Slack. I'm not going to move to Teams just because I use Microsoft. That's the problem, is you got to get people, either new customers or people in the midst of a transition.
Yep.
So 13 million.
The people they're dumping off of Skype for Business who are going to have to go to
get those
Teams,
people.
right?
Yeah, you're going to get those people. Yeah.
But I thought it was a little disingenuous. We don't know if they're actually beating Slack, right? Because Microsoft announced they have 13 million daily active users now for Teams. The last number we have from Slack is 10 million, but that number's from January.
Right.
And so everybody was asking Slack for an updated number, and they claim because they're in the middle of going public that they can't give us a number because of the quiet period.
They're in the quiet period, yeah.
Right. So
it might be
they
much
may
higher.
Be at the same number or higher. Right. We don't know.
Yeah, if they come out and say 20 million.
I don't think it's that much more, do you?
No, I don't think they've doubled, but
it's a success for Microsoft to say
it totally
Teams
is a
competitive
success.
with Slack is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's also a competitor, a success for Slack, right? They've got 10 million customers, right?
Without
They're a
being
small
Microsoft.
business. They started with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and then Stuart Butterfield's out there saying, yeah, we're not worried. I'm like, don't say that.
No, that's bad. Like, you don't.
That's like
you gotta
Apple.
Respect your competition.
Apple saying, welcome, IBM. Seriously. Glad to have you in the PC
Yeah, remember when
space.
Teams was launched, he took out a full-page ad saying, welcome to collaboration
That's
space.
good marketing. That's good marketing. That's just reminding people, you know, we were here first, and we have the king of the hill, and I don't think that's a...
Yeah.
It's hubris.
It is. It reminded me of the old Scott McNeely, right?
Yeah. But I think the Greek gods are out of business these days. I don't think he's necessarily going to get punished for hubris.
Yeah.
But just be careful because, I mean...
Yep.
And this happened to Microsoft. I mean, this happened to, and it's happened to Microsoft, but it also happened to Netscape when Microsoft put out version 3 of Internet Explorer for free.
Yeah.
And the folks at Netscape said, "Oh, don't worry about that. Yeah, we would still charge $35 for our browser, no problem."
Mm.
And remember Netscape? Whatever happened to that?
Yeah.
So
Who?
And now we have Credge.
Now we
So-
have
I think we would be happy using Teams. I don't think there's any reason we wouldn't use Teams. It's just that nobody's going to, once you're installed with whatever you chose, you don't need to change. Yeah. I've come to Lisa many times and said, "Oh, I guess," because I always find the new, "Oh, I want to move to this." And she says, "No, maybe it's better."
already have this.
But it have to be, the old rule of thumb was, if you're going to change platforms, it has to be 10 times better than the existing platform. It can't be 1 or 2 times better. It can't be 50% better. It has to be 1,000% better. That's the old rule of thumb. And I think that's a fair rule of thumb. There's a lot of inertia, especially in business. This is my business process. Don't mess with it.
Mm-hmm. Mary Jo, here, and Leo too. I'm curious, do you guys think they will rebrand Skype or get rid of Skype in favor of the consumer version of Teams?
Yeah, I think they're going to call it Teams for life, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, do you think they will sunset Skype
totally
itself,
dump
though?
Skype?
I mean, the whole Twit network runs on Skype. You guys use Skype, right, Brad, for your podcasts?
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't you think they'll just remake it as Teams for life?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think they'll destroy the
know,
infrastructure.
No, I understand. But what's happened already with Skype, and I'm sure you've noticed this, is because of that influence of the corporate use, it is not the tool it used to be for us. We're struggling with it. Fortunately, we're going to move to the Skype VX, which is designed for broadcast. And that, I hope Microsoft keeps that going, because that's an expensive box we're getting. Actually, we
I would
have
assume
them.
That's going to stick around. They might just rebrand it as Teams something, but it's going to stick around.
They have to keep a version that we can use for podcasting, or we're really screwed. We're really out.
They will. They could just keep Skype and call it Teams for life.
If they just rebrand
that's what
it,
I mean.
okay.
Like they evolve the app.
But what happens is the app does evolve, but it evolves more in that direction. Once it becomes Teams, they're going to add features that businesses want, but that's often going to be at the cost of features we use. Like now, I think Skype has a little window in it you can't get rid of. That's fine for a business call, but not so great. We actually have to shrink the screen a little bit.
Yeah, you crop it. That's the same thing I do.
Yeah.
The only reason I think that is, and we all know when they acquired Skype, they said, "Hey, we have 300 million monthly active users," and 7-8 years later, how many it's been, they still say, "Hey, we have 300 million monthly."
Yeah,
no,
it's not growing at all. So and I can't imagine they're making money from this thing. There's no way.
I love Skype. I pay for a phone number, so I have a Skype phone number. I pay for Skype Out, so I can call phones from my Skype account.
Sure, but I mean,
think, in a way, they're missing the boat.
Minority, though.
Yeah, I know, and they really need to market towards that minority, because companies like Viber are eating their lunch. People use it. Nowadays, you don't need a phone service on a mobile device if you have the ability to call phone numbers. If you have Skype on it, and data, which everybody does. I wonder if Microsoft. I wonder if they're getting pressure from the telcos, from the carriers, like, we don't get in our business.
They just got AT&T's business.
Yeah. They just did a big announcement with AT&T today about how they're going to collaborate on 5G with Azure.
Oh, isn't that it? Well, see, that confirms my suspicions.
$2 billion deal.
Oh, it's not that big a deal.
Yep.
Is it? Is $2 billion sounds like a lot to you and me, but is that a lot to AT&T and Microsoft?
Well, they also announced a deal with IBM at the same time AT&T did.
Yeah.
So they're, multi-cloud like so many big companies are now.
Oh, $2 billion worth of Azure?
don't.
That's a lot of Azure.
No, so we don't know what the $2 billion is for, because
it's Office.
Part of it's for Microsoft 365, because AT&T is going to spread that out to their employees. So we don't know how much of that is $2 billion.
That's a win. That's a win. That's a partner win. Customer win. Yeah.
Partner / customer win.
The thing we don't know is how much of this money are they already paying to Microsoft, right? They say $2 billion, but
not new money.
What if they're already paying $1.9 billion to Microsoft for Windows and Office, right?
Yeah.
It's so.
We do not know that.
We don't.
I can see why they put out a press release. That's a nice win.
Yeah, it's $2 billion's $2 billion, but we don't know how much of it's net new.
Yeah, $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Pretty much just starts to add up.
Going back to your question on Skype Consumer, I think they were trying to redo Skype, and then they had to pull it back because it was so terrible when they did it over in the form of like Snapchat.
But
but their idea, I think, is not to run all these different networks. Like they want to have the infrastructure that is Teams be the way you communicate and collaborate with everything, I think.
I agree.
They don't want to have like, here's our Skype backbone, now here's our Teams backbone, and they're different. Mm-hmm. I think they would love to have them be the same backbone. The UI will probably look different on the two, but I think they would like it to be one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
But, we've heard rumors about Teams for Life. It's shown up in a couple references on various Microsoft documentation. And at one point, there was something called Skype for Life that they never brought to market. So maybe Skype for Life is just rebranded Teams for Life.
Yeah. Well, Teams also started out as Skype Teams, so it's probably from the same group.
Yep.
And now,
and then we have this one little item here that's related. Yes. Did you see that? Yeah. So SMS Connect, if you're somebody who used that feature to connect Skype and your phone, that's going away at the end of August, and Microsoft's advising people instead to go with Your Phone, their Your Phone application.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's how they're suggesting
I guess that's an overlap, right?
Basically work with your apps on Android and iOS. It'll definitely be possible on Android right away, but iOS, I don't think
iOS.
You don't have the notifications there, right? So, yeah.
Okay.
August 30th, SMS Connect going away. And somebody said, here we go again, because I think Microsoft did do that at one point, and then they had to pull it back. But now it seems like Your Phone is going to be the way to go.
And now to deliver the Xbox news, Paul Sarachi-Thurot.
That is. You just need to leave him up for a couple hours. Just let that stream.
Especially the sound effect.
That is. I mean, it just looks natural, right? I think he looks so happy.
Drop Tunes did just a perfect job.
Perfect.
And see how easy it was to do a triple box? Okay. I'll let Brad do it today. But just today, Brad, the Xbox
Just
news.
today.
Just for today.
Microsoft's favorite thing to do in the whole wide world is to add more games to Game Pass, because they are trying desperately to get more people into that service, because they are hoping that is sort of the long-tailed future of their software as a service plan for Xbox. And with that, they are adding a bunch of games. They just announced, I believe this yesterday, they announced Nightcall is coming on July 17th. On July 18th, you're going to grab Metal Gear Solid 5 and also the Banner Saga 3. And then later in the month on July 25th, they're going to be adding King for the King for Xbox. And then Killer Instinct and Resident Evil 4 are all coming to Game Pass here in the near future. If any of that made you excited, I'm happy for you, I guess. I don't know. I think Paul will be happy. Paul will be happy.
See, Brad does this so succinctly. Paul would make this drag on for a while.
No, I'm not even ready. I was going to go get a cup of coffee. Come on. Oh, little muffins. Little Muffins the cat. Yeah.
It's even cropped. No, that is. We need this as like a sticker.
Yeah. It is a sticker.
Gotta be.
It's stuck right there.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like he can almost pet him. Sort of. There you go. Scratch his back. It's nice.
And he bites your hand, and it's all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Amsterdam. Oh, jeez.
It's more of a growler.
That's a little more of a roar. Tomorrow, Q4 earnings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say, Toonses? No. How about you guys? I'm going to leave him here. I love him.
You know what? What I'm going to watch for tomorrow in earnings is if they say anything about how Windows 7 to 10 upgrades are doing, because in every other earnings call, they've really downplayed this. And at some point, That's got to be kicking
an issue.
in. And right? That guy, he just doesn't want to stand still.
No.
But you're not talking about Xbox. He loses his attention span.
He's kind of like Sriracha. He kind of introduces himself into the game. I'm just going to get his little ears
Exactly.
coming out.
Catnip.
He needs it.
There we go.
There you go.
lurking.
Just lurking in the
What else? What else by earnings? Commercial cloud. There'll be some new huge number. New Office 365 number, right? That'll be big.
I always watch the Surface revenue too, because it's. I don't think they're going to hit $2 billion this quarter.
No.
I would be very shocked if they got.
Me too.
If they
That would
did.
be.
But they've been trending over $1 billion for most of the quarters. Well, all the quarters now for the past year or more, and so. It's going to be when do they hit $2 billion will be a big deal for them. Now, we still don't know if that's profitable. We've been hearing for a while that Surface brand is not profitable, but as revenue keeps going up, you would think at some point they should actually start making real bottom line dollars. So we will see.
We'll watch tomorrow
We'll
after
be-
the markets close.
After the bell, we'll all know.
You guys will be busy typing. And if you
I'd love it if they've told us Game Pass subscriber numbers, but I don't think they ever would.
They're not going to break that out, right?
And never
Not-
Xbox console numbers, right? They've never given
No.
that either.
Nope. They tell us Xbox Live active
Right,
users, but they don't tell us
subscribers.
Xbox Live. I don't think gold users, though. They just tell us how many people are actually using Xbox Live. So
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess it'll be covered next week. And will Paul be here next week? Is he going to?
He will.
Okay.
Yep, he'll be back.
Okay. Let's take a break. When we come back, the back of the book without Paul. Hello, little Paul. Without Paul, we won't have any app picks unless we can come up with on short notice. But we will have beer. That's most important, right, Paul? Right. Our show today brought to you by our sponsor, Capterra. We love Capterra. You know this is why. No, wrong button. This is why Microsoft has to put Internet Explorer in Edge. They have to put Internet Explorer on Windows 10, and in the new Chromium Edge, they're going to have to put a Internet Explorer window because there's so many people using line of business software you cannot give up, software that's critical to your work that has not been updated since the days of Vista. Or worse, XP, or worse, 90. I think there's Windows 98 users out there running a dusty old machine in the corner, just because they're, whatever it is, multiple listing service software has to run on that. It's using ActiveX Desktop or something. You know what? I almost can guarantee you there is better line of business software out there, state-of-the-art stuff, running on premises, running in the cloud as a service. Software that can do everything yours can do 10 times faster on a modern operating system, and you don't need Internet Explorer or Vista. But where would you find such software? Well, I could tell you could Google it, but no. You could call us, but no. The best place to find it, Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource, a directory of business software, 700 categories, thousands of programs, everything from CMS to email marketing to IT service. There's SEO software in there. There's workflow management. There's also software for specific businesses. There's yoga studio management in there. Veterinary, dental office. You can narrow it down. Do the search. You'll see there's hundreds of programs in almost every category. You narrow it down by the number of users, whether it's on premises or in the cloud. The capabilities. Do you need to make appointments? Do you need to bill? And then you'll find the programs that do exactly what you want. But the best part is you can also see the reviews. Capterra is coming up now to 1 million current verified reviews of this software. They're doing about 1,000 a day. They're over 950,000 reviews now. That means not only are you going to see the software that you're interested in, but you're going to see what people who are actually using it think of it, what the pros and cons are. That'll help you make a great decision. They even have a comparison side by side, so you can put the 3 or 4 candidates next to each other. Capterra believes software makes the world a better place because software can help every business become a more efficient, effective version of itself. I shouldn't even say business because nonprofits too. They've got it all, and it's free. Capterra makes it easy to discover the right solution fast. All you have to do is go to capterra.com/windows. And by the way, please do that because I want them to know that you heard about it here. Capterra.com/windows. capterra.com/windows. There's never a charge. It's not freemium. It's free. capterra.com/windows. Capterra is software selection simplified. We love Capterra, and we hope you'll use it. We thank them for their support of the Windows Weekly show. Now, I'm looking at the notes here. Who's going to do the tips and the picks here? Brad, you want to take that? Or?
Yeah, I can do
the code name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's save the code name. Oh, no, the code name is the tip of the week.
It is.
It could be either way.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so here's a code name, and unfortunately, I don't have a ton of information about it, and we will throw it out to the masses to see if they can figure out what it is. Microsoft has a Surface code name called Serenity, and it is so here's the interesting part. It's a software portion of the Surface brand or product, whatever it is. And then there's a hardware component, I believe, called Lake Placid. Oh. So somehow Lake Placid and Serenity are tied together. I'm not quite sure, but these are two Surface code names that are floating around right now. And just keep your eyes and ears open for what that might actually be.
Camp Serenity is in Lake Placid.
Oh.
There we go.
See, I thought it was going to be like the TV show Serenity and then Firefly and all that, but I guess not. Oh, well.
Yeah, so those two things are related somehow.
So do you think Serenity might be something like earbud related or sound related?
I don't know. See, that it would make sense, right? Because that's kind of like an ambient thing. The earbuds that Microsoft is working on are codenamed Morrison. So I don't think it's those. But at this point, probably just about as much as I do on those two specific code names. So I'm sure somebody out there probably knows more, and if you do, feel free to let us know.
Maybe the Walking Cat will do it because he always listens. So
he's a good source for that stuff of digging through the trenches by all means. So, Mr. Cat, you have been tasked.
Mr. Cat. 5.
And we're not talking about Paul the Cat, by the way.
Mr. Cat. So that leaves the enterprise pick of the week, and I'm taking it that Mary Jo will be doing that.
Yes, I will. So this is more of a developer pick of the week, but very interesting. So Microsoft is saying now that they're starting to explore using Rust, the programming language, as an alternative to C and C++.
That is incredible news. That's fantastic news.
So the reason they said they're considering it is because of security. The news came out of the Microsoft Security Response Center. And I've had people ask me, okay, so wait, are they going to tell us developers that we should stop using C and C++?
No, but internally they might start using it.
Right. So the way this is worded in a couple of tweets I've seen and some of their blog posts is it sounds like they're saying we're exploring using it internally. And if we can get this to work, we're going to tell customers to do it too.
Hell yeah. Half of the security, more than half of the security issues we see in Windows come from memory management issues with C and C++. Rust is thread safe, which means you can use multi-cores. It's strongly typed, which means it's a lot safer. I think this is, and it's a systems programming language. It's intended to replace C and C++ with a much better language. That's very good news. I'm seeing this all over the place. People are rewriting a lot of Linux code in Rust to get it more reliable. I think that's fantastic.
You know, what I wonder about, though, is Microsoft did have that Midori project for a decade where they were trying to come up with a way to make Windows more type safe and more. They even had a programming language called M# that was supposed to do some of what Rust supposedly does.
Rust is out there. It's well supported. It's got a lot of resources. They could
never really make it work.
Libraries.
Yeah.
It makes, this is the new Microsoft. I just love this.
Yes.
Because
they also have Check C at Microsoft, which is an ongoing project they have.
Lint type thing that checks your code or something.
Check C is an extension to C for checking and detecting common programming errors.
Yeah. No,
around memory access too.
Rust is really a great language, and it's performant, which is it's if you were going to say, well, what systems language could we use to replace C++? Rust would be a very interesting and I think a compelling choice. Wow, I like that.
So, I've had a couple of people today say, ask Leo what he thinks about Rust. So
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. The negative is there's not as many learning resources out there for Rust, although it's pretty good. A lot of businesses are starting to use it. It would make a lot of sense. Microsoft did TypeScript, right? And that's actually getting a lot of traction as a type-safe version of JavaScript.
Right.
I think this is exactly what I expect. God, they must be going crazy in the Rust community.
I bet they are, right?
I hope that they're sincere about that. That's.
Oh, they're very sincere. If this came out of the Security Defense Center, they're very sincere, and they say they're going to do a whole blog post series about their work.
Can't wait.
With Rust.
I can't wait. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense because it's the security people who would push for this.
Yeah.
If you're going to solve this problem of making software reliable and eliminating these issues that we see again and again with insecurity, changing to a language that protects the developer against himself is going to make a big difference, I think.
Yep.
That's great. Oh, I can't wait to read what the Rust community is saying about that. Yeah. They take these wins very seriously.
Yes, I'm sure.
Wow. How about a rumor? You got a rumor?
Yeah. I got a rumor, and I'm first going to say I don't have any inside knowledge on this rumor. But it's been rumored for years that Microsoft was going to buy Adobe. It's kind of like that Citrix rumor, like that just never dies. Microsoft's going to buy Citrix. It makes sense. And, Microsoft and Adobe have been doing more and more together. They've been, Adobe's now using Microsoft Azure as their preferred cloud. They both are working together in the Open Data Initiative. And then this week, Microsoft's joint venture with Accenture, which is one of their big partners, that joint venture is called Avanade. Avanade announced they're now launching an Adobe practice. So everybody who saw this said, why don't they just buy them already? They're like circling the wagons around Adobe. And what I've heard is Adobe doesn't want to sell. I don't know if that's a permanent case or situation, but people always are asking about the Microsoft Adobe rumor. So I'm putting it out there as here's one more thing that is going to get people thinking this might happen, this whole Avanade Adobe practice announcement. But I have no inside knowledge that this is any closer or any more possible than it has been rumored to be for like a decade.
Yeah, it does. I do hear those rumors every year or two. I
know, every year. It's like year of the Linux desktop. Microsoft buying Adobe.
No, but that happened. I think I have mixed feelings about that because, of course, Adobe is a big Apple partner. And
but these days, if Microsoft bought Adobe, you can bet they'd keep supporting Apple, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I have no further insider knowledge. I'm not saying it's going to happen, so nobody quote me saying that, but I'm just saying that rumor has resurfaced yet again because of the Avanade partnership.
Yeah. Very good news. I hope that happens. I would actually like to see that. Adobe's been struggling a little bit. And as the number one problem with security on Windows, it'd be nice to see
is Adobe.
Is Adobe. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Let us. I think we've earned ourselves a little beer.
Yes.
And I am interested to see you pick this one. Is this because of Brad?
It is. This is because of Brad.
Oh.
You had a bunch of options, but you chose a good one. This is a good one.
So I know Brad's one of his, if not favorite. It's one of his favorites, if not his exact favorite brewery in Cincinnati is Rheingeist. Am I correct?
Yeah, yep. Go on.
They're based in Cincinnati, right? Actually, in Cincinnati. Yeah. They're a craft beer brewery. They have a lot of different beers. They even have a beer that's called Andromeda, I found out today, which is a pale ale. But I picked in Brad's honor Cheetah because Brad likes lighter beers. This is a 4.8% lager. I never drink lagers, but
no, I don't like lagers.
You know what? In the summer, you can't really beat a lager. It's just clean,
that's exactly it.
Easy drinking. They have a lot of beers, though. I never knew they had that many. When I looked at their beer page on Rheingeist, I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
But please don't drink the lemon lime Cheetah. That doesn't sound good at all. You know, Budweiser did such a good job with the lime. I think we should.
We're going to do it again.
Yeah. No, I do like their logo though, which looks like an alien skull. So if you're gonna raid Area 51, you might want to take some Cheeto along with you.
There we go. That's the official beer of the Area 51 raid.
They're a German inspired brewery, correct? So they kind of do German style.
Well, that's
beers.
The lagers then,
Yeah, another big one in Cincinnati is called Mad Tree. They are very large as well, and they have another beer called Psychopathy, which is very, very good as well.
It's a great name.
Mary Jo, you would probably like.
Very nice.
Great name. So they're using hops and rice.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Like many beers do. Many beers use rice.
Is that common?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember those ads.
Yep.
They're using what? I think we should wrap it up. You guys did such a great job. Paul has no reason to come back. What? No,
the cat came back the very next day.
Came back the very next week. Brad Sams is at Petri.com, and of course he works at Thurrott.com too. And he's actually Paul's boss, which cracks me up.
Well, it's a flat organization. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And we have to give his book a shout out too. His book about the surf.
Oh yeah. So if you like surface stuff, and no surprise why I chose surface code names, you can find it's called Beneath a Surface. And I wrote it. It's about the story about how they built the entire brand.
It's not a how-to. It's one of those making of, which I love.
Yes,
it's my favorite category of book, actually. Beneath the Surface. And it's available on Kindle. It's available on audiobook. Do you have a good audiobook version of it?
Yeah. I tend to like it. So it's...
Did you read it?
No, I did not. I actually hired somebody. Audible makes it very easy to actually do that.
The market would shift to a touch-based world, so its operating system, Windows, must adapt as well. But the clock was ticking.
John T. Lewis
the
sounds
iPad was
just
selling
like
better
Brad
than expected.
Sams. I like him. It sounds like he's got a little tood. He's got some tood in there. He's giving it some attitude. I like it. Beneath the Surface. Also in paperback at Amazon and other bookstores, if there are any left.
Yep. Yeah, if there are any left. That is exactly right.
Brad, you're the greatest. I really appreciate your being in here and allowing us to mock your silly Care Bear outfit every week.
Oh, it's fun. I appreciate the invite, and it's always a good time. Always a good time.
And don't forget, Brad and Paul do a great podcast called what is it called?
First Ring Daily.
First Ring Daily.
Yep.
Is it every day?
It is just about every day, but it's really, really short, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like
quick
10,
hit.
15 minutes
Quick
long.
hit. If you want to get a quick hit on what's going on in the tech world, First Ring Daily. And Mary Jo Foley is also at Petri. She does those how are the forums going? Nicely? Those interviews look great. Yeah.
The MJF chats. We're building them up.
MJF chat at Petri.com. And, of course, her blog, allaboutmicrosoft.com, her ZDNet site. She's got her own site.
I do.
Folks, we are out of show, but we'll be back next week. We do Windows Weekly every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That would be 1700, I think, UTC. You can watch us live or listen live at twit.tv/live. You can also chat with us as you listen, irc.twit.tv. And if you're not watching or listening live, well, you can always watch or listen on demand because we make this show available the minute it's out at twit.tv/WW. Again, audio or video downloads available there. And, of course, you can subscribe. In fact, we'd like it if you would. We'd be honored if you would subscribe in your favorite podcast application. That way you'll get it the minute it's available every week. See you next week, Mary Jo. Paul will be back, right? He'll be in the Netherlands.
He will.
But he'll do the show.
He'll be in the Netherlands.
It was great having you, Brad Sams.
Thanks
to all of you. We'll see you next time on Windows Weekly. Live on